Did you see my tweet last night?
No.
So, my buddy sent me a tweet from, it's like dudes posting their W's, and this guy caught like two grizzly bears, just massive grizzly bears, just going at it, fighting. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it looked like when Phil Taylor and Tracy Robertson squared up mid 300 in a summer workout.
I just was playing because I love the game. Like, and it's scary to me.
It's really easy for the game to become a job.
Below 6 in his hands, whistle his mouth.
Man, kids out there playing the game, staying out of trouble, competing. I love it.
All right. So one thing that I've been really excited to talk about, we recorded last week, Saturday morning, and that afternoon they finished the state track meet here in Texas. And one of my buddies, Zach Birdwell, the head football coach, athletic director at Tioga won state in boys 2A. And a couple weeks ago, I mean, they're incredibly fast. For a 2A, they're state level competitive up to probably regionals in the 5A, maybe. I don't know if I don't know the times off the top of my head. I mean, they're incredibly fast. And a couple weeks ago we had talked, and I said, man, what's the secret sauce? Like, what do you feel like y'all do different from a track standpoint that's giving y'all this edge? And he was like, there's not one. And you got to keep in mind that, like, Zach's our age, right? Yeah. And like, when you hear guys talk about like, oh, there's no secret formula, like when say those guys, it's usually the older generation. Zach was like, there's not. We do the run a 400 every day and pick up really heavy things. Secret sauce. That's our thing. And I was like, okay, but what's the difference? He goes, the difference is that this group of kids is 150% all in on the message, the culture, and the expectation that our staff brings to them every single day. And despite any and every piece of outside noise that tries to distract them from what we're doing, these kids go all out. They do everything that we ask of them to the fullest extent of their capability. And they do it over and over and over. And because he's been there, this is now technically kind of his third off season. They're really seeing the fruits of those labors.
Dude, that's good. I'm glad you said that, because this is what makes these conversations more organic, in my opinion, and not like scripted. So I was talking to, the tight end U guy that trains here, Jeremy, and this is just yesterday. And we were talking about like the prioritization from a head coach perspective. And it was a few different things, and I'm probably going to forget them right now, but it was like talent, culture, community. There was a few others we talked about, but like as a head coach, how you prioritize those, because obviously a lot of coaches are going to prioritize talent first. And what got us to talking about this, and this is my point in making your point, Travis, was like, if you go and you hear people coach at a practice, you can tell if there is substance in which they are coaching through the language. So in other words, if I am saying, I'm just yelling out, hey, do hard things, you can tell if the kids actually know the story and the substance behind if you're saying that, or if that coach is just regurgitating things he has said in the past. You know what I mean? Like, and we were talking about, I was like, I think that's the culture part of it. Like, how are you teaching life to the kids first? So if you're teaching brotherhood, or you're teaching, do hard things, or +2, if you're saying all these things, do they know why? Because if they don't, and you're just saying it, then it's going through one ear, not the other. So I would imagine what your boy has done there is he's instilled those values and principles, and those kids understand it. And I think if they understand that, everything else will take care of itself. Again, I don't know, I've never been a head coach, but that's just common sense to me.
Well, and that's like the crazy part about it is that, so he comes from the boot camp lineage, right?
Okay.
Do the boot camp till you have the perfect day, and then you're done, right?
Yeah.
They still hadn't had their perfect day.
Oh, wow.
And they're still like, he's got kids going through boot camp that are running in the state track meet and getting faster every week, not showing up and being like, oh, this boot camp crap's slowing me down. We need to work our handoffs, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, this is what the program's doing right now. This is where the team is. This is where you need to be. And then being like, okay. Now, caveat, I want to make sure that I do say this. They got dudes, like,
Yeah.
for sure. But to me, they got dudes that are good athletes that have become great athletes in the right environment, in the right program of expectations, right? Like those kids would have been pretty good athletes if he's not there. I think that they've become great athletes because of the design and the structure and the discipline that he's instilled in them. And what's crazy to me, and this is what's so wild, right? This guy is, sorry, Zach, if I get this wrong, 33 years old. He's been a head coach for 2 football seasons. He's been there this is his 3rd track season. And he has built a program with such high expectations that they're successful in almost everything. And shocker, there's still people upset.
Yeah. Typical. I mean, that's I don't know that community either. So that's the telltale to me whenever you have a place like that is upset when they're not winning. So, which is encouraging. I mean, you want that pressure. It's just a matter of like how disgruntled the parents are and the kind of, the attitude they have with that. But
I don't want that to, like, obviously not everyone's like that. Right. Yeah. But it's funny to me because there's so many people that like, we want to win and we want to do these things and we want to do these things. Right. And then they start to do those things and they're like, well, but we wanted them to do it this way. We wanted it to look like this. Oh, no. When I sat down in this interview and shared with you what my expectations were and how I was going to reach those expectations, you and the committee that this community put forth said, those are the same expectations. And we would like to do that.
Right.
You didn't say, I want to do these things, but I have to we need you to take this specific path. So don't move the goalposts just because we're having success and it doesn't look the way that you want it to. Yeah. Right. Don't try and come up with reasons for me to not fit within your expectations just because of something that is emotional, right? Because that's all it is. Anybody that starts to nitpick that, right, that it has nothing to do with production and it has nothing to do with process. It has everything to do with your emotions.
Correct. Yes.
And that's, to me, that's the hardest part to get people to understand, right? Is what drives success, right? I think I can't remember who I heard say this, but what drives success or what creates barriers to success, parents can be your biggest roadblock or your biggest asset. And you have to figure out a way to manage them to where they're not either one. Mm-hmm. Sorry, where they're not the roadblock, but they are the asset.
No,
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. You're trying to. You've got to find a way to make sure the echo chamber is in a positive way to what you're saying to the kids. That's what you're striving for, I think, as a coach. I also say, like, to your point, like those people that hire you and the parents included, if you aren't very thorough with the explanation of what your process is as the head coach, then you can expect there to be some confusion, disgruntlement, issues. I feel like everywhere I've been that's been successful, the head coach has done a really, really good job of explaining, this is my process. This is our process to run a program. There is no gray. It's black and white. Here's expectations. I think that allows for a really good echo chamber. Now, you're always going to have the parents that just, find ways to what you said from an emotional perspective to be upset. But if people don't know the process, then you stay out of it. Because, those are the ones that ruin everything.
100%. And you're creating an environment where you and we've talked about things like this before, but you're creating an environment where you're a distraction, where that kid goes, let's say that kid goes to school, goes to workouts, and they make a 5% improvement just overall. Nothing specific, but just overall, they make a 5% improvement. And then they come home and they lose 4% of it because you've got to talk to them about how, well, this coach is telling you the wrong thing to do. And, he's putting this foot forward and it should be the other foot, blah, blah, blah. And now you're basically speaking those criticisms into existence because you're holding back an athlete that could help the program. And then when the program doesn't reach success levels that you want it to, you'd be like, see?
Yeah.
So the understanding that from a community standpoint that this is it's all hands on deck when it comes to public school, really even private school. But when it comes to like a high school athletic program in a small town, you have to be a foot soldier for the AD. You have to as a parent. And I can say that because I'm a freaking parent. And there's going to be girls coaches that they're going to do things and I may not agree with them. But you know what I'm going to do? Be like, hey, coach said do it. Go freaking do it. Right. And if you're not willing to do that, shocker, you're not a team player. And you're enabling an environment where you're hurting the program way more than you're helping it. I had to deal with this last night. We hosted a playoff baseball game. We are very blessed in Mount Vernon to have a barn that was passed 2 years ago. Really nice football field, softball, baseball complex. Right? So we've been hosting playoff games, right? We're hosting a game of a team whose kid, his dad can't even attend games when they play at home because he goes and stands at a baseball game. It makes it all about him and the dialogue he has to have with the umpire and the other team, blah, blah, blah. And let me tell you how I'm the smartest guy in the room. Bro, shut up. No, you're not. Mm-hmm. There's no part of this where what you say is going to win the game, but there is a part of this where you could potentially make them lose it.
Right. That's right. Dude, I hate people who think that they're the main character. And it's so frustrating, especially at kids' events. It's like, brother, just stay at home. It's so frustrating.
Bro, imagine your son is 15 years old, 14 years old. He's a freshman in high school. He's in the middle of his first of 4 varsity seasons. And you can't watch him anytime they play in his hometown because you're an idiot and you're selfish.
Yeah.
What is that like?
I don't. It's weird. It's not weird. It's how life should be. Like, the older I'm getting, but specifically, the more that I deal with my kids and the more kids I'm starting to get, we're going to have our third here either. I don't think this weekend. I think probably this week, or for sure next weekend, we'll have our third. The more that I'm realizing, the whole thing that I'm doing is so far away from anything to do with me. Like those days are done. And it's not to say, I'm not trying to sit here and say, once you got kids, what you want to do is over. I'm not saying that because that's not healthy either. What I am saying is I think you just get wiser and you realize, what this life is about is me serving. It's serving my wife, it's serving my God, and it's serving my children. It's doing whatever I can to make sure that, I provide the best for them. And if you're going to be the parent that's at the fence and putting your hands on the chain link and screaming, you haven't had that revelation yet, and I feel so bad for you.
Well, and the other part of it is understanding that I had this conversation with one of our athletes. It's like, listen, I need you to let me in, and I need to be able to pour into you. Mm-hmm. Because right now I'm trying to pour into you and the lid's on the cup. Right? That's good. I'm open and willing to, and it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you. Help me help you. Mm-hmm. Right? And I'm having those conversations with kids. I know you're having your version of conversations with those kids, and you still got people that are like, nah. Not all help is good help. Block it out. Only listen to me. I'm the smartest person in the room. And it's like, brother, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need new friends. Because if I'm the smartest person in the room, we're in trouble. Mm-hmm. Right?
Totally.
So people that think, and they do exist, and I think that that's the problem. But people that think that we get into this profession and we go through what we go through on a daily basis for personal glory, that's crazy. I'm gonna pin my personal glory on the emotional state of 15 to 18-year-olds. Do I think that that's do I really think that that's the best approach to be like, let me glorify myself with people that I can't trust because they're going through puberty, right? Like, what are we talking about? I do this because I love the game and I love what the game can do for people. And the game can be any game, right? Team sports in general, athletics in general. That's why we do it. We don't do it to be like, yes. Let me go ahead and add that tally to the win column for me. It's like, bro, what?
Right. Yeah. No, it's people are pretty ignorant to when they I hear it all the time too. I feel like especially like in private schools because parents are so much more involved. Um, because a lot of the funding in a private school comes from parents. And so I hear way too often. They just think that we just sit at the office all day long and twiddle our thumbs, and then we just show up to practice and call random plays, and that's all we do. And it's like, like I could have other jobs. I could have pursued other things. Like, I didn't just take this job by default. If you were to ask me, why am I coaching or why do I coach in one word, it's called it's impact. I was impacted. I wanted to do the same thing that happened to me whenever I was in high school, which was I was impacted. And I was impacted in a negative way and then eventually in a very positive way. If I was only impacted in a negative way, I'm not sure I would have ended up coaching. But because I saw the impact from one head coach to the next and how that drastically changed not our football season, but our lives in 1 year, to me, that triggered something internally that was like, I can do that to other kids as well. And I want to be the positive impact if I happen to come through that school and they just had a negative impact. Yeah, I could go do sales and make a lot more money. So those who are ignorant enough to think that we're not qualified or, this is all I could do. It's like, brother, you are just take the blinders off. Bless your heart.
Hey, and that's what's crazy about this community last night is this is going on and the guy that's behaving this way is standing in a circle where I'm being told like, oh, well, they know he's going to write a 6-figure check to the Booster Club every year and he's going to do that. And he's going to do that. He was like, so there's a lot of movers and shakers standing in this section. It's like, the problem is that those guys, I don't know if those guys do, but I can tell you that the guy that was acting this way thought because he was standing next to them that he was protected. My kid's good and I'm friends with, I have friends in high places, so I'm protected. And you would think being banned from your hometown sporting events would be a sign of like, ooh, not that protected. But like this happened this season and this guy hasn't missed a beat. I was told this is why this team won't play home and home. They have to play neutral site to make sure that this guy can go because his kid won't play as well and his kid's good.
No way, dude.
Dude, this is real.
I mean, that's just I can't say it on the podcast, but like, that's a lack of not having a bold spine and somebody saying, kick rocks, brother. And for those of you that want to associate and say that, he shouldn't, you can kick rocks too.
Facts.
We deal with that a little bit here at the school too, where just people are so scared of conflict. I'm like, if you don't have conflict, you'll never have a resolution. Because there's going to be
called that.
Yeah, it's like, Clark talked about it all the time. He was like, he told the story, he was like, I remember when we were living in an apartment and, there were these, cockroaches and you had two options. Okay. You can sit there and just say, you know what, let's not open the doors and maybe they'll just go away. But what's going to happen is it's actually going to fester. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And then one day you're going to be forced to open it. And then you're just, the whole place is rotted with cockroaches. And then you got to clean everything out and it's just a dumpster fire. Or you can open every cabinet and get rid of all of them. And then you're clean and you're good. And it's like we have so many people at various schools I've been to, even including the one I'm at now, they're so scared to say what they feel, knowing that it's the right thing, but they don't want to cause issues. And it's like, hey, you don't want to cause the issue? Well, that issue will be the main issue of why this place goes down.
Or
fix it.
Take it a step further, and because we're talking about parents, why not? Let's just see how many people we can make mad this week. But like when I talk to you and like you sit there and you confidently look me in the eye or talk to me on the phone and you tell me who your kid is and how you know this and how you know that, and yet you forget that I spend more time with them in the week than you do, and I see the polar opposite of everything that you just described, I can't tell you how many times I've had to hold the phone away and be like, okay, yeah, you're onto something there.
Yeah.
And the out of touch behavior, like that's my biggest fear. As our oldest is in junior high and gets ready to like go into high school soon, like, am I going to end up out of touch with like how my kid behaves? Like, do I have the wool pulled over my eyes by my own children? Because I see it every day. Well, my kid wouldn't do that. Well, they did. You know how I know they did? Because I saw it with my own two freaking eyes. So don't tell me what your kid does do or doesn't do and how great they are, because, you know, I don't know. I was 4 when I heard for the first time, actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
And the laundry list of actions that are associated with your kid that don't match with anything that you're describing, like, wake up.
I'm going to have a meeting next week. I guarantee it, with a parent. And I already have it scripted out what I'm going to do. Because I already have the low light tape made. And so, I mean, this guy is a lunatic, but, he's going to walk in, I'm going to shake his hand, and then I'm going to literally turn my chair around. And I'm just going to, for those of you watching, I'm just going to, hey, glad you came, take a seat, play. And I'm just going to play each clip. Because I feel like unless you can actually see it, I mean, and then some people, even when they see it, they don't see it, you know. But, yeah, just the amount of delusions from these parents. It's like, and I see it, and now that I have kids, there's been a couple of instances where I'm like, I haven't gone that bad, but like you almost refuse to see some of the things in your own kids because you're like, no, my kid's better than that. And I'm like, whoa, I can't do that. Like, I can't be like these other parents and who don't see it. So I think it's natural to be that way. But some people just take it, you know, too far, and then they've never been checked in their life.
Right. And that's like, I mean, I did it as a player.
Yeah.
I mean, and we fight it every day. My wife and I fight it every day. Like, that's our biggest fear as parents. Like you're describing, like when I got to Waco, like I'm a walk on and I'm on the team, but I haven't practiced yet. And ego just bigger than the screen right now. Right. And I'm standing in practice, like street clothes. I'm like, oh, I'm better than him. I'm better than him. I'm better than him. And it took about 12 seconds being suited out to be like, I was wrong about all those. We're just going to shut up, stand over here for a year and a half and figure out if we can grow a little bit.
Yep.
Right. And then now fast forward to being a parent, our 3-year-old Parker, she's a runner. Right. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's a bad thing. Right. But she's a runner. She loves to run. And we'll be like, is she fast? It's like, man, she's 3. So like, we don't really know. But like, what I do know, I don't know if Parker's fast, but I know Bo's slow. Which is not a great place to be. Like, if we joke and make all these plans for like what he's going to do athletically. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I joke with our defense coordinator. I'm like, his gait, man, we just got to get his knee drive up. And it's like, he goes, well, if you get him out of those Jordans, he could probably pick his feet up all the way. It's like, that's a good point. So like the awareness, the parent awareness and the self-awareness, like are always a source of like insecurity. Like I want to make sure that I'm the most aware person anywhere that I go, because I have a brief memory of not being aware that first day in Waco. And it was humbling enough to be like, oh, never again.
Yeah. It's you know, I've been trying to do this a lot lately, and I'm probably going to sound like a lunatic, and that's okay. I try so much to, like, with every situation, especially whenever I feel a situation arise, maybe in a negative manner, to literally picture myself as another person on top of a mountain watching the situation happen. Because I feel like if I don't, especially me, like I allow my emotions to just like, because I'm the type where just like I won't say a word, you know this, and then like I just won't say it, and then I'll start getting red, and then I will just, you know, and I'll lose it, and I'll say things, I basically black out, and I'll say things that I can't take back, and I hurt that person's feelings, even though they're probably true, but I've held these things in for so long because I'm such an observant guy, and I just don't say them, and I should, and whereas like if I can say, you know what, I'm watching this whole event happening. What's the best thing to do here? How stupid would this be to do this? Like, would I be ashamed of myself if I did that? Like, otherwise, I'll do what I did at Tarleton all the time and just not say a word, and then eventually just lose my mind. So,
Dude, there's nothing more entertaining to witness than like a TK bomb going off. Because it could last 5 minutes. It could last 30.
yeah. Yeah.
And, I mean, it could last 3 days. We could be in a conversation the next day and you like something up here just triggers and you're like, and you know what?
Yeah.
God, I loved it. I loved every second of it.
My staff's starting to figure that out now too. Because they're starting to realize they'll just watch my face, the color of it, and then they'll also watch like my eyebrows. And like, if this one's up, I'm good. But if this one starts to go up and I'm like, yeah, they just,
if you ever see TK in person and he's got that little like flex trimmer, avoid.
Yeah. It's not
detour. Get out of there. You tried to do it today. I tried to make a joke and you're like, no. And then I could just see it building. I was like, yeah, let's peel these layers back. Let's peel these layers back.
Yeah,
ha ha ha.
That's why you're my best friend. So
all right. Well, let's stop yelling at parents.
okay.
So big deal down here. I don't even know if this is a thing in Tennessee, but big deal down here going into this year, this fall, the player in-game communication has been approved in Texas. And there's, as of right now, my understanding of it is it's pretty broad. There's a lot of different ways that it could go. But some guys are looking at doing like they're putting what looks like an Apple Watch on their kids, and the coach can just click or type and they can look at it.
Is that what it is? Like I saw it, not to cut you off, I saw it this morning, literally for the first time. It was the Max Preps thing, I think. And it said text message only. So that's as much as I know. So I don't even know, like, is there one thing that you can only use? You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that there's only one thing. That's the only one that I've seen. I also think it would be tough to put because Go Route makes those little little tablets, and they'll put them they put them in like wristbands and whatnot, and kids will put them on like their belt or wear them on their arm. To me, that's not realistic because it's bulky and guys are the screen's so big, you can put a lot on there. So I don't know. I mean, we're probably not going to use it this year. That's not to say indefinitely or never, whatever, but I just don't. Do y'all have, do you have in helmet communication with your quarterback? Apparently that's on the table as well.
See that when I saw that this morning, my thought when I saw the title, I was like, oh, they're doing it in helmet, because like to me, and I'm going to sound probably like an idiot here because I literally have no idea. I read the title of the article in the first paragraph. But I'm like, a text message, like I'm going to delay a game. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand. I'm not going to like
standard message rates apply.
Yeah. We're not going to be right. We're not going to be like, mid play. And then I text him, hey, kill it. They're overloaded to the right. Kill it. You know what I mean? Like he's going to look at the Apple Watch and delay a game. I don't understand. And I'm an idiot. So I probably don't understand what the actual, but like I assumed if you said in-game communication, why would it not be the exact same as college? I get the affordability of it, but if you're going to make a law like that, then you, as the law, should provide those for schools, in my opinion. So
well, and that's been the biggest problem. Like that's why Huddle Sideline took so long to get Sideline Replay, because there's more than just that one company. That's why Sideline Replay took so long to get approved in the state of Texas, because the schools have to provide their own equipment, and it's like, okay, cool. When we pass this law, Highland Park is going to be like, done. Here's 4 of them, right?
Right.
And then Inner City ISD, fill in the blank, is going to be like, all right, so I guess we'll get this in 5 years when we, do enough lift-a-thons, and the price has tripled, and we can't afford it, and we still got to keep trying to raise money for it, right? That was the situation that you started to get people put in, and that's what took so. Now it obviously eventually got passed, and I've heard stories. Don't hold me to this. This is just hearsay. So the rule on that is, here's me going off on a tangent, but the rule on that is that it can't be set up on your sideline, right? It has to be like a locker room, press box, right? Well, there's a certain school that has like 10 state championships that's red, that apparently built a plywood housing thing with a step ladder that they would set it up, and then they would have coaches after a possession leave the sideline, go up there, look at it, come back with notes, instead of trying to do the thing where they're looking in the press box, right? Like, hey, and on this play, what did you see? And some other guy's trying to describe it. They just built a housing unit like off the track behind the fence and just would walk over there. So, hey, UIL, you might want to rewrite that rule to encompass, like, it has to be like a permanent fixture. You can't just build a shed in pregame.
Y'all can't have that on the sideline?
No.
Weird.
We can only have it in the press box and at halftime.
It's weird. I mean, that's see, like again, like if you're going to incorporate a rule, right? Like the in-game communication.
Well, that's a protection thing, right? Because I just left a school that we had 6 football coaches. I got 2 coaches in the press box. I got 4 on the sideline. All 4 on the sideline coach both ways, right? When are we going to have time to look at that? We coach against teams that are like when I was at Rivercrest, we coached against teams that had 10 coaches. So yeah, absolutely, they can have 2 coaches step over under a tent or under a tarp and be like, all right, boom, 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 boom. We don't have that, right? So we lose. Right. It doesn't bring as much value to our sideline as it does with a school with bigger. Now, Mount Vernon, we got 13 coaches, right? I got plenty of eyes to get on that stuff. So
I didn't think about that. That's good. That's smart. See, that's smart. That's smart. I didn't think about that. But the end game to me is stupid. So
that's still dumb.
Again,
I don't understand the value.
Maybe I just don't understand it. But like, to me, you're like who sits in a room and like in-game communication, text message only. Let's do that.
So this is how I interpret it. This is how I interpret it. I can't remember his name. Guy from Refugio that he just retired because of health issues, but he like always scored like a bajillion points, and like they were always really good, and they're still going to be good. But he would make wristbands per position, and so like it would just say like, for example, play 1 through 10, right? And the left guard position on play 2, it wouldn't say like, hey, we're running base or we're running power. It would say down block combo to the back, whatever, right?
Yeah, the kids didn't learn football. Right.
Right. Good. Okay. That was a negative way to respond, but I get it. Yeah. But he would make 11 of those, right?
Yeah.
And then everybody had one and it told them what to do and blah, blah, blah. I think the text message is expected to replace the wristband, because the wristband limited you based off of the size of the wristband, the number of flaps, blah, blah, blah. So what I think it's going to be is like you have an iPad that has your playbook, like plays written out, and now you just click one and it sends it to it. So now they just look and they run to their spot and they run the play. So it allows you to go faster.
You better hope that whomever is running that thing isn't a slap. I mean,
well, I would think that if you're committed to it, it's your OC.
See, I don't.
Look at you. You're like, I don't want that in my hands.
No way.
I want to. Trenton needs his space to move and call.
Well, yeah. Well, no way am I going to sit there and be like, on an iPad 2. I meant 3. Like maybe I'm too fired up and my finger hits. Maybe it hits 3 by accident. I don't know. Like no, I would rather be able to if I'm going to do wristbands, which I don't, because I think it's stupid. But
easy.
I mean, I do wristbands for the quarterback, like plays that are too long, we'll kill them or whatever. But I'm never.
Wasn't stupid for Tom Brady.
I'm never going to post, dig, whatever. So, but yeah, like I'd rather be able to 6 hours before the game, be able to diligently go through that and be like, I know that this is right. I know that this is right. Not in the heat of the moment, be like, skirt, not doing it. No,
well, and I think that their thought is like, well, it just replaces your call sheet, and it's like, man, no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Stupid. And that's when you have people that wear suits making decisions. They've never been there before. That's what happens.
That's right. Let them know, TK. This is why they should ask us.
That's right. I mean, yeah. What do we know? We're just peasants. So
that's right. Just lowly high school football coaches.
Yeah, we just it's the only job we could get, and we're not smart at anything else. And,
oh God, he's back.
Yeah, there you go.
He's back. All right. Well, I've been trying to talk to you about this for a few weeks now, and I figured now, I'm not going to forget. But got a big big moment coming up in a couple weeks for me, and it's not a big deal, but it's a big deal to me. Getting to coach in my first quote unquote All-Star game. I am an offensive coach in the FCA Texas versus Arkansas All-Star game in Texarkana. And this is going to be like one of the coolest things that I think that I will or definitely have but I think big picture will ever be a part of, because it's FCA centered and they do it in Texarkana, and the whole weekend is full of all-star games. So there's a baseball game, a volleyball game, a basketball game, a girls basketball game, a baseball game, a softball game, all throughout this weekend. So like the city of Texarkana is hosting like all these kids, all these families to come watch these games, and they're kids from all over the Texarkana area on both the Texas and the Arkansas side. And really cool event. But I didn't know, have you coached or been a part of anything like that?
No, never in my life. I've always heard they're really cool, really fun, especially the FCA one. I feel like that, like when you get into coaching, like when we were growing up, you had like I don't remember what we called it, but it was like the big All-Star game in Texas, right? It was like the red and the black jerseys or whatever. And I was always like, man, that'd be awesome. Like if I were coaching that, this is me as a younger child. But like if I ever coaching that, I've made it. And so, no, I've never had, but I've always thought that'd be really cool, because it's a different experience. I mean, you're having to find a way, if you're a coach, right, offensively, you're having to find a way to get minimum 11, but however many guys on your roster offensively on the same page in like 3 days. Literally, conceptually, spiritually, chemistry wise, like you're trying to get everybody on the same page. Just cool experience. So I never have this. So that's going to be a cool thing for you.
Yeah. To me, it's like you, like when I was a younger coach. So there was an All-Star game, that the THSCA All-Star game that they always played in like Fort Worth. And they would pick like a state champion coaching staff to coach it. And so that was like, boom, and so like Salina coached it in a lot. So like a lot of those older guys had stories about coaching in that All-Star game. Mm-hmm. And this one's really cool because getting to coach in the game with a couple Baylor guys, one that I was teammates with, and then Tootie, we didn't cross paths there, but like he played for coach as well. And so getting to have that experience, but also like it's very family oriented, like kids coming to practice, like they're going to give our oldest a like game jersey and whatnot. Really and cool. Getting to do all that stuff is really fun. And I think that it's like, this one's so different because FCA does All-Star game. There's like 4 or 5, I think, throughout the state of Texas, but they're all like Texas versus Texas. This one, because of location, like we get that border aspect where it's Texas versus Arkansas, brings a little juice to it. Now you have like it's not just like, oh, well, Texas won this year, but they're playing Texas, right? So you have like, it's a 4-year-old All-Star game, and I think Arkansas is up, like this is going to be year 4, and Arkansas is up like 2-1 or something like that. So you get that. Yeah, and Coach Willard he's fired up because last year I think they scored 7 points, Texas did, and he's like, not doing that.
That's not okay.
So we're about to get into like full season prep mode for about 5 days before we go out there, and it's going to be fun just to reconnect with those guys, but also it's going to be a fun environment, I think, and I'm excited to see how the whole weekend goes, because they're putting us in dorms, and you're doing all the off the field stuff, very similar to like when you go to like any type of camp, like sports camp, like you're going to be ready. Here's breakfast and practice, and then we're going to meet, and then we're going to do this, but then you mix in that FCA factor. And so that's going to be really cool. I would highly encourage anybody to look into, if your area doesn't have one, try and get your coaches to start one, get with your FCA rep and start one there, because I think it's going to be a great weekend, and obviously I'll be able to report back and tell you if I was right or if I was just completely wrong. And it was
How
horrible.
are we down 2-1?
I mean, I don't know why you're looking at me. I just got out of here. It's hard to win ball games scoring 7 points.
It's not okay. I don't like that at all. Well,
like I said, there's a text thread we've been virtually game planning for about 2 months.
Yeah. Include me. We'll scheme them up right now. Oh, we'll destroy them.
Yeah, but what if they tell us we have to use in-game communication?
Dude,
You're out.
I'll throw up 14 points in the next 5 minutes on these guys.